August 13th Harrison Planning Commission meeting to order. If you all stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll go ahead with the roll call.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Graff.
Here.
Mayor Grubbs.
Here.
Ms. Knock.
Here.
Mr. McMurdo.
Here. All right, and we need approval of the minutes for the July 9th meeting.
Wilson approves the minutes as printed.
Second.
Mr. Graff.
Yay.
Mayor Grubbs.
Yay.
Ms. Knock.
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo.
Abstain.
Mr. Wilson.
Yay.
All right. I'd like to welcome all our visitors tonight. Thank you for being out here. We'll jump right into the new business, which, Joette, I'll throw it over to you for the permit presentation.
Okay, this is case number 2024-1308. The location is 104 Harrison Avenue. The reason for this request is the applicant is required to submit a zoning and use permit to open a business in the downtown redevelopment district, and these permits will not be issued until approved by Planning Commission. If this request is approved by Planning Commission, the applicant intends to expand their current business into the front area of the new space to provide additional seating for 1860 Tap Room. 1860 is already occupying the building space next door and is highly successful in the DRD. The hours of operation and employees will remain the same. The building is a 3-story building with apartments on the upper floors. The applicant will be using the approximate 680 square feet on the ground floor for additional seating for the business. No landscaping areas on the property. On-street parking is available in the front of the building, and public parking is across the street. No new outdoor lighting plan is proposed, and the proposed signage was not submitted at this time. The application has been reviewed by the Harrison Planning and Zoning staff and meets the Harrison zoning regulations per 1143C8, which states restaurants, pubs, ice cream parlors, or coffee shops without drive-in or drive-through facilities are a permitted use. The application also meets the intention of the downtown strategic plan to create and maintain businesses that attract new and existing customers using the walkability of the downtown. If Planning Commission approves the application, the Building and Zoning Department would recommend the following conditions. Any future structural, interior, or exterior improvements will require a building permit presented to the Building and Zoning Department for review and approval. Any outside design changes, such as painting of the building or trim, will require a zoning permit filed with the Building and Zoning Department to ensure they are in keeping with the historical nature of the DRD. Any future signage will be submitted to the Building and Zoning Department for review and approval according to the Harrison zoning regulations.
I had some conversations with Mr. Mangold prior to it being submitted, and I think it really fits in well with not only their business and help promote, potentially promote the growth of his business, but as well as the second location that will be here next. So I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I will second it.
Mr. McMurdo.
Yay.
Mr. Wilson.
Yay.
Mr. Graff.
Yay.
Mayor Grubbs.
Yay.
Ms. Knock.
Yay.
Motion approved.
All right, we'll go ahead with the next one, zoning use permit application.
This is case number 2024-1305. This is also at 104 Harrison Avenue. The applicant is required to submit a zoning and use permit to open a business in the DRD, and it's the same as the case before. If this request is approved by Planning Commission, the applicant intends to sublease the 325 square foot kitchen space to provide food options for the 1860 customers. James Trent is the current owner of Aberson's Dessert Shop in the Harrison Square Shopping Center and the executive chef at Jungle Jim's Oscar Event Center. James was trained at Le Cordon Bleu French Culinary School and brings 30+ years of experience to this new venture. Adding food at 1860 puts them on par with the key competitors in the downtown area and offers another food option for residents visiting our downtown. The proposed food menu will change monthly with seasonal themed varieties that align with 1860s vision. And up to 3 employees will be serving food Tuesday through Sunday from 4:30 until 8:30. The building is the same, the landscaping is the same, the parking is the same. Lighting and signage was not provided, but they do intend to provide signage at a later date. Same recommendations, same approval. This is really just splitting the space into 2 spaces and making the best use out of it for 1860 and for another venture to go into the space.
This is pretty simple, I think, Mr. Mayor. I would move for approval.
I'll second.
Mayor Grubbs.
Yay.
Ms. Knock?
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo?
Yay.
Mr. Wilson?
Yay.
Mr. Graff?
Yay.
Motion approved.
All right. We'll look at the parcel split. Go ahead.
Okay, this is a parcel split application for 10551 Carolina Trace Road. The applicant is requesting approval to split the existing 29-plus acres on the west side of Carolina Trace into 2 parcels to become Tract 1 and Tract 2. They would also like to split the existing 35-plus acres on the east side of Carolina Trace Road into 2 parcels to become Tract 1 and Tract 2. The applicant will then purchase both of the Tract 1 parcels, which will be included in Phase 1 of the development. Both of the Tract 2 parcels will be purchased at a later date for future development of Phase 2 of the project. And then there's a map here that you can see the 2 tract split. And basically, the recommendation from Building and Zoning is the application has been reviewed by the Harrison Zoning Department and the City of Harrison Engineer, and we would recommend approval.
I do not have my reading glasses.
What?
I do not have my reading, oh, those are for distance.
Oh,
Which parcel was tract 1? Oh, the bottom on the east side?
yeah,
I have a spare.
nice.
So it just looks like they're developing the south side of both sides of Carolina Trace prior to moving to the northern parcels.
Yeah, and Adam Mears is here if you have questions specifically about the property.
No, I think the majority of developments develop in different phases, so I do not have a problem with the parcel split. Are there any questions that you guys would like to ask?
Out of
Every bit of it.
curiosity, I was just wondering how long, do you have any idea how long it's going to be between Phase 1 and Phase 2?
Remember if it's 12 months or 18 months.
18.
I'm guessing we'll close probably quicker than that. But the idea with this split is to allow us to put on the townhomes and the estate lots initially. We'll do the villas early next year, and then we'll, by the second day, finish the rest of that.
My only question is, Tract 1 kind of surrounds a weird-shaped parcel. That's included in Phase 1 or not included?
Everything in tract 1 is what we're buying the first take, which hopefully by the end of this month.
Okay,
And we're buying, so, east side of Carolina Carolina Trace are the villas. Those will be developed, again, like I said, probably starting early next year, maybe mid next year. And then on the west side, we'll be doing the townhomes and, the estate lots out of the gate.
So
It's
Adam,
the driving range.
it's the driving range.
that's the driving, the driving
Yes.
range is not included.
Yeah,
Well, it's gonna be, you're gonna combine
gonna
those
be-
lots next, right? They can,
Correct.
Hamilton
that-
County would not let them do it on this
Yeah.
plat.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure that the driving
Yes,
range was
driving
part of
Yeah,
Phase
yeah,
1.
sorry.
Okay, then it makes perfect sense what you're
yeah,
saying.
no,
Okay.
this, Hamilton County wouldn't let us do it on this particular
Right,
one.
right, you gotta cut it up
We'll
first,
cut it up
then
next.
you consolidate. Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll be back.
So when will construction of anything start?
We close when we expect to close. We'll have 3 months of engineering, and then however long it takes to get through approvals. My guess is we'll do pipe over the winter.
Okay.
Maybe late, I doubt we'll be able to do anything prior
Any construction would probably start after,
We'll
and
have-
if there's a snow,
There'll
after
be
snow break.
something going before the year is over. There'll be activity there.
We'll get questions as soon as,
I'm sure.
so, thank you for breaking it out.
Sure. And it's still Ryan Holmes.
Yes.
They're still the builder. Everything is okay.
Any other questions?
I move for
Motion to
approval.
approve.
I'll second.
Ms. Knock,
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo,
Yeah.
Mr. Wilson,
Yay.
Mr. Graff,
Yay.
Mayor Grubbs.
Yay.
Motion approved.
And we will go ahead and go to the next order of business there, Joette.
So we're gonna go ahead and do your presentation, and then I'm gonna read the report afterwards, so if you guys are ready. This is Paradigm Construction, and they're gonna be giving a presentation on the proposed development on Corner Brook Road.
Thank you.
Well, one guy's too big to argue with, so.
All right, well, I'll start. My name is Rick Michaelis. I'm one of the partners and construction manager for Paradigm Construction. Our proposal is to build a planned community on the track that's on Cornerstone and West Road, just off 74. That will be an inclusive community for adults with developmental disabilities. We want to build kind of condo style, but single-story homes that will be a for-sale product. Which is something that isn't really being done for that community at this time. Certainly not in the Midwest. There are a couple maybe on the West Coast that are kind of in the beginning stages like we are right now, but we hope to be kind of the first group doing this. Through our discussions over the last couple of years, Harrison became the place that we thought made the most sense. One of the biggest driving factors in our partnership is Ted Karras and what he's already done for this community through raising money over the years. But now we want to try and make something a little bit more permanent than, what Ted can do through the Cincy Hat system. So, I'm going to keep going. So, basically, there really isn't somebody doing a for-sale product. Almost all of these kind of communities that exist now are kind of more of a group home kind of feel, almost like a hospital kind of campus. And what we want to build is something that's a true community that is integrated with the rest of the surrounding communities. To feel like a regular neighborhood or a regular subdivision. So our group wants to put together something that can be replicated throughout the central and southern Ohio area and take that where we are in Indianapolis as well, and then spread it out through the country. The group consists of myself, Zach Douglas, Ted Karras, and then Dave Lurk, and then Mike Metz with his group will be providing some of the essential services that this community needs, and he already exists with his huge community, and we're really happy to be partnering with him as well. So, with that being said, I'll give the floor to Mike.
Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you guys, City of Harrison, for having us here today. Again, Mike Metz from Metzcore. So my wife and I started the first Metzcore Community Campus, basically a college campus for adults with disabilities.
Can you scoot closer to the mic, because it's
Yeah.
it's going out over,
No, you're fine.
that way the people at home can hear.
So my wife and I, 8 years ago, started the first basically college campus for adults with disabilities on the west side of Cincinnati. Took the former Mercy Hospital campus and renovated 10 acres and 82,000 square feet of building to have these services there. So basically having job opportunities on campus, having education, life skills, social skills on campus, service opportunities on campus, and then, also having just living opportunities, experiences, going on outings and such, providing more independence to our community than ever before. But the biggest missing piece is residential in our community. We serve roughly 250 families right now on that campus and plan to serve almost 300 within the next year. And that's where Paradigm and Ted has come into play to help us build this community. And I live in Harrison, Ohio, and my boys go to Crosby. So when they were thinking about Harrison, and I live here, and honestly, our next location will be Harrison, Ohio. It was a no-brainer for this project to be here. And like they said, this is first time ever this is happening, and we've chose Harrison, Ohio to do this. But I'm going to play a short video of what we are, just to give you a little concept of who MedScore is, and then go from there. This little commercial that we have on Fox right now. So.
MedScore Community Campus, a college for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, providing opportunities and independence like never before. How do we do that? We build a community that works as a family, pushing ourselves and growing each and every day. We create and partner with on and off-site businesses like Core Tees T-shirt company, Block Coffee Shop, and Maycore, our very own makerspace, to provide good paying job opportunities on and off campus and the job training and support needed to be successful. A wide range of fun outings and new experiences for those in our program to choose from, to find what fulfills them in life and to build friendships and connections throughout the community that will last a lifetime. Education, music therapy, theater, and the arts, supported by a full medical staff. Providing future housing options on and off campus with staff and transportation provided. Community service and faith-based projects to do good and show what the MedScore family is capable of. Welcome to MedScore.
So the big thing with that, and that's what we have currently, right? The next thing is we call it MedScore family, right? Our MedScore, that's who these people are to me, right? They are just like my brothers and sisters and my big giant family, along with the parents and everybody else. And the biggest concern I have in my community right now is what's going to happen to my son or daughter when I'm passed, right? So that's what, with TED, Paradigm, and our group MedScore, that we're going to create this community that not only serves them in their day services and in that aspect, but at home as well, to create that family aspect, just as a family, that there's that checks and balances to where, hey, when they're coming in from the homes, residential agencies and providers, we're going to make sure that they're taken care of on that end and call them out on it, right? Same thing from coming home from MedScore. Hey, residential provider calls us, says, hey, Jimmy doesn't have his lunch or this or that, right? And creates that family unit that's never been in history, right? And this is going to revolutionize the services for adults with disabilities. So it's extremely important. We did create a testimonial video that I'm going to share with you from our families and the individuals that we serve. It's roughly 5 minutes, and it's hard to cut it down, sorry.
What it means to us is a safe and a good place for Robbie to go every day. Robbie would be totally bored at home, and it's really a joy to have some place that we feel comfortable for him to go. He's always excited to get on the van in the morning.
My son, Austin, he's nonverbal, non-ambulatory as well, and just, I couldn't imagine life without MedScore, to be honest, because he has so many medical issues and problems, and he spends many times in the hospital. And that is, sorry for getting teary-eyed, but this gives him, it gives him quality of life, is what I can really say. I'm like, whenever he's in the hospital and he's sick and he's able to put a smile on his face, I always tell the doctors that he's going back to MedScore with his friends, and that is where his quality of life is.
Hannah is a big fish in a tiny pond. We walk in the door, every staff member knows her name, no matter who they are, whether she's in their room or not, and I always appreciate that, because they're all looking out for her.
It has changed Andy that he now has friends. And before it was always support people, care people that took good care of him, whether it was teachers or the other workshops he was in. But here he has real, true friends.
I feel like they try to meet your needs, like just with my circumstances, my son has to have a nurse that goes with him here, and no other facility would take him because of that. And Mike and Ashley made that happen for me, for my son to come here. So I can't thank them enough.
What does MedScore mean to you, Drew? What is it? How has MedScore changed your life?
Got a job.
He has a job.
You have a job? Do you want to tell me about that?
Make t-shirts.
You make t-shirts?
Yes.
I ordered a t-shirt today, maybe you can make my t-shirt.
Yeah. Did you make this t-shirt?
I did.
Yeah.
Good job.
Do you want to live somewhere where you're not living with mom and dad?
Yeah.
Okay, why would you want to do that? Would it make you feel more grown up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Were you
kind of are like your brother, and you don't need somebody to take care of you because you can do it. Makes you give you autonomy, right? Yeah.
And live independently, right?
Yeah.
Have mom and dad visit, and hang out, make you cook them dinner.
Yeah.
What would be your favorite part of that? What do you think? Would it be having a party, watching TV by yourself, turning the music up real loud?
Yeah.
Have friends over.
Yeah, would you like to live with a roommate?
Yeah.
Yeah? Would you live with like one of your friends from med school, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah? That'd be cool.
I have my own place. I would dance for myself.
Would you have friends over and dance? Yeah?
Yeah.
Would it be cool to live in a neighborhood with other friends so you could have them over?
Yeah.
Would you cook some dinner?
Nah.
For everybody? Nah.
Probably one of the biggest concerns would be for us to face later in life where there wouldn't be a provision for Andy to move on as we progress through life and enter into the next world. So what that means is a crisis intervention that wouldn't be good for any of us, and where he would have to adjust to living someplace else by himself or with other people. And then he would also have a new home, he would have a whole new situation and so on. And that's why it's, I think, important to begin this process earlier in the stage so we can wind down the road together and go through the bumps together as to what life is going to be like. And so it has a big impact for Andy, but it also has a huge impact for Steve and myself because, you know, we will get the peace of mind to know that he is being cared for. He's gone on, just like your other kids, you know, they've moved on and you know they're okay with their lives. And so you need to have that. I need to have that with Andy as well.
Because that is probably the major concern that all parents of a special needs adult have, is that how is this going to play out as time goes on? And so this is a beautiful way forward. So looking forward to it.
I would invite my friends over for it, and I think it'd be awesome to have friends near each other and have a good night and have, like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Anything.
Yeah, having your own place, what would your favorite thing be?
Play video games. or ride on bikes, probably.
Yeah? Would you like to have other friends live in your neighborhood that you can go visit and have them over?
Yeah.
Yeah, would that be pretty cool?
And it'd be us to feel happy in a home by ourselves. When you grow up and all that, when you're adults, I think it's amazing. I think everybody's gonna be happy.
That's just a few of our families. We got 215 that we serve now, and many more to come. But yeah, so I'm gonna pass it along to Zach here. He's gonna just talk a little bit more about the development. So, thank you.
So we wanted to touch just there on, you know, who we're looking to serve here with our development, and obviously it's the very underserved demographic of adults with developmental disabilities alongside, you know, their families. You know, one thing we heard as we surveyed family, loved ones, guardians, people like Mike Metz and the families he served over the past year, is the biggest concerns for these, you know, adults and their families and loved ones is what will happen, you know, as, you know, they pass on. You know, as you see a lot of children or adults now, they live into their adulthood with their parents, and not a lot of times do you not see, say, I talked on the phone today, for example, with a woman who's 74 years old, her stepson's 21 years old, and she has no idea what's going to happen when they pass away. Who's going to take care of their son? Is he going to be safe? Is he going to have communal interaction? And he's going to have a place to call home. And I know me, I've got 3 children, another on the way, and I know as a parent, you know, I want my children to be homeowners. I do not want them to be renters for life. So that's where we kind of challenge the current status quo and say, why does the buck stop there with adults with developmental disabilities? They deserve to own their own homes too. So the vision that we have is an inclusive living neighborhood. So what we look to develop here on this property is 116 condominium units, very thoughtfully designed. There's over 40 buildings, and I would note that there's 14 different building structures. And we have 3 different elevation sets. We have, I've got it up there, over 12 different colors of siding, 5 different roofing colors. Our plan is to build this as authentically and non-generically as possible. We want this to be unique. We want this to look special. We want this to be a gem in Harrison. So we've thoughtfully integrated walking paths. We want to integrate, more health consciousness with the adults with developmental disabilities. I know one thing Ted plans on targeting with the Cincy Hat Foundation is the obesity in adults with developmental disabilities, and that's something that we are conscious with and want with the interconnectivity of these walking spaces. So all single-story ADA compliant units, and then here, as we show, that we have different model types. This is a hybrid, so we have the traditional gabled and flat roofs. We also show a more modern build, which is here, and our contemporary, and then this is actually, this is actually the modern, and then this is the contemporary. But 3 different elevation sets, so this is the same building 3 times, but you're just seeing it, 3 different ways. So we don't want to, build these as tract homes, and you're not looking at the same thing, Jack and Jill side by side. But, each unit and each home will kind of be independently created, so everyone has something individually to call their own and be proud of. So the key benefits for this development, obviously, like I just said, this development is more than just a housing project. It's a strategic response to a community need. We believe by offering a well-designed, accessible homes with adults with developmental disabilities, that we're building a community where independence and inclusion are at the forefront. And moreover, this project presents a unique opportunity for bipartisan collaboration on a mission with significant social impact, generating public relations and setting a new standard for community-driven development. Another thing we're planning on doing is ensuring long-term viability and sustainability. Some key developments of this would be we have a detailed planning to ensure this project's long-term success. The affordable housing and pricing model, we will be placing restrictive covenants placed on these parcels, so we'll be reserving them in the units for disabled persons for generations to come. This is something that has been a major sticking point for us is, we know what's going to happen on the primary sales, but we want to make sure that on the secondary and third sales and all sales moving forward that, even as we pass on into our next life, that this community that we built in Harrison stays for what we build it in and in the spirit that we're building it in. So the long-term maintenance and management strategies are going to be governed by a strict condominium association. And that condominium association is going to be overseen by Mike Metz and Metzcore, who's a local Harrison resident, like he said, and is looking to bring HQ2 basically to Harrison and bring a footprint. And I guess Mike can touch on that a little bit more as well.
So the plan with this development is for us to make sure that we oversee services going on in the homes themselves, making sure that we partner with agencies that have we're going to make sure that they're the best residential agencies to partner with, so that our families get the service that we require, or the expectation that we require as Metzcore. Again, like I said, I plan on building our next location in Harrison. I'm a resident here. It's what me and my wife have decided. We're working with Life Springs Church and a few others already in the community to get that going. But we plan on overseeing this project for the entirety of our lives and going on as the business, to make sure that there's good services in homes, make sure that there's activities within the community that keep the people that we're serving active and having a lot of opportunities to get together and network with and make friends and all that and such. So that is a big thing that we're passionate about, not only with our program and the day services, but in the residential side. So we will be overseeing that for the entirety of our business and going forward. So that'll be. I'll pass it on to Rick here. Collaborating, stakeholders. Sorry, my bad. So as far as the collaborating with local stakeholders. We're going to be partnering not just with MedScore agencies, right? We're going to be talking to the LADs and other people that are serving quality services within our community to make sure that we're building this community that has more opportunities for the individuals we serve than ever before, right? So that's the key piece. We don't plan on doing all of this ourselves, and really partnering with like-minded groups and to make sure that the quality of service is to the highest level, right? So.
Kind of touched on all this stuff, so I'll just finish by touching on a lot of the stuff that we've kind of been asked in this planning process over the couple of years that we've been working on it with different municipalities, trying to find the right fit. One of the first things that we get asked is, how is this going to affect our municipal services that we already have? We used a couple different existing residential programs that are for rent and pulled the EMS runs on the last 5 years at their facilities. And they're very minimal. There's a couple that are related to medical emergencies, but most of them, for instance, the Village of Marici, which is in Indianapolis and is a for rent model at the moment, has only had 5 in the last 5 years, and a couple of them were simply just security malfunctions on the security systems. So we don't think that there's really any effect on the existing services that the City of Harrison provides to its residents. And then we want to make sure that all of these residents are supported. So one of the requirements, and Mike kind of touched on this, is we can't dictate who these people will use for their homemakers, but we can dictate that the services meet a certain standard on a rating scale. And so we can say, hey, you can only bring in an A-rated service provider into this community to ensure that everyone is kept safe. And then the transportation aspect. The question we get asked a lot is this going to make our roads busier? Are we going to add to the congestion that already exists as cities like Harrison grow? Well, no, most of these, adults don't drive or own cars. Mike and his group have 20 buses, and they do most of the transportation services for a lot of their group. Some people drive. Yeah. So that service would be sent here basically to be able, until Mike gets everything set up here in Harrison, to take everybody back to his existing, institution. And then kind of to wrap it up, we don't ever see this changing out of the hands of the covenants that we put on this property. So one of the things we've heard from almost every municipality is, well, how do you keep this from being something that either turns into Section 8 housing or like a large corporate investment firm come in and buy up? The covenants will restrict that, and those will be tied to the deeds moving forward, and like Zach touched on, much longer after we've passed on. And then children. So there really won't be any type of strain on the school system either, because almost none of these individuals will have children. There are times when they get married and have a loving relationship, but most of the time there's no children involved, so there wouldn't be any impact on the school system as well. So kind of the point of these 5 notes were just to kind of touch on the things that we heard the most in all of our outreach over the last couple of years. And beyond, basically adding residences in what's now an agricultural area, we don't think it impacts any of the city services as they sit currently. So to wrap things up, I'm going to give the floor to Ted. Is it my turn?
You finally get to speak, sir. Holy smokes. You have
Well,
to wait for them every
thank
time?
you guys for having us tonight, and thank you to our wonderful team at Paradigm. This is truly an incredible opportunity. I never thought 2 years ago when we launched the Cincy hat, that it would turn into filling such, an unprecedented need. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful that this has come into my life and given me a mission that it's very noble. And I'm blown away when I moved to Cincinnati and this all took off, about the amazing synergies of this town with the community of adults with IDD. I mean, we got UC Health, Mike Metz, Kenny Anderson. There's so many people striving to create this independent lifestyle for these people. And to be kind of propelled as a champion of that is an opportunity that I'll be forever grateful. So I hope we can partner up. This is going to be really exciting. Never been done before. Going to be very special. And thank you so much.
Absolutely. I greatly appreciate all you gentlemen coming out, talking through the not only the slides that we have here in front of us, but playing the presentations. Like I was talking to you before, I think this is a very underserved part of our community, and it is a part of every community across the entire country, underserved, and not only in the tri-state area, but in the Harrison area. For you guys to take the time to research and make a decision here in Harrison, very excited about it, and look forward to future partnership. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions?
Well, he answered the question I had on the schools. I didn't know if the schools could help you in any way.
Yeah, I know Mike's done a lot of outreach with
So, I don't know if you guys heard of Project Acceptance or Acceptance Week, but that's a program where
Yes.
we're money with Med School, partnering with Riley Wagner, and getting that going. So that's a program we're starting to get just some awareness for our community and how we can serve together. But that's something that we'll be working on.
And I realize that in this complex, there's no garages and stuff. I understand that because they won't have cars. Is there enough parking in it for visitors that would want to come and visit? Because I noticed that there's not that many, but I guess you wouldn't have that many at one time.
I don't remember, but I believe there's close to like 0.75 per unit.
Okay.
So it's not exactly 116 parking spots, but.
I understand.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for giving Harrison the opportunity. I think it's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to echo, I love the frequently asked questions. That was very helpful. Mine was going to be the EMS and police, so that answered that question.
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate that, but I want to echo what Mayor and everyone said. I commend you for what you're doing. I know several friends that have adults with special needs, and that is a valid concern that they've mentioned to me is, you know, what are we going to do when they pass away or when the parents pass away? So, again, I think it's great. Excited to have you potentially here in Harrison, and that's all I got.
It was great to Nathan in the video. Nathan's my neighbor, so. Yes, exactly. I stand corrected. Joe Burrow, yes.
Even with the pink shirt, too.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
And you'll obviously make some of our community happy because you're not going to impact the roads as much.
You see a lot more med sport vans driving around. Yeah, that's about it.
That's okay.
Yeah, my only concern would be that corner is very busy, and but yeah, if you're not going to impact the traffic, that'd be great.
Mr. Chairman, I would move for approval.
Well, that's just the presentation.
It's just
Just presentation.
No
We're
vote.
not voting on it tonight.
Not yet.
Well, that sucks.
Well, no, Joette's got to read the.
Please.
Yeah, I'm just going to read a little bit about the zoning, how it fits in with the city of Harrison, just so we're all on the same page. So the applicant has submitted a development permit to build the facility that they have discussed. The applications for development of a vacant lot are reviewed by Planning Commission to ensure the development is following the intent of the comprehensive plan. So that's why we're here tonight with Paradigm. Let's see. So single-family dwellings are a permitted use in the R3 zone per section 114303. They've talked about landscaping, parking, that touched on those things. We did do a preliminary zoning review in our department, and the landscape plan has been reviewed and meets the landscaping requirement for the Harrison zoning regulations at this time. It will also be reviewed by the Harrison Tree Board. The parking has been preliminarily reviewed by the Harrison zoning department, and the current layout meets the parking requirements in the Harrison zoning regulations. As we go through the development process and get further into it, if there are changes, those will be made administratively through our zoning administrator. A proposed lighting plan was also submitted, and it also meets the requirements of the zoning regulations. A sign package has not been submitted. That will come in time, I'm sure. And again, that will be approved administratively through the zoning department. So basically, the comments that we put together from our department are a preliminary review of the development plan has been completed by our zoning staff and the city engineer. The development fits the Harrison zoning regulations as it is and does not require any special approvals. All building and zoning plans will be reviewed and approved by the Harrison Building and Zoning Department, including setbacks, parking, garbage disposal, and height requirements. Any future signage will be submitted to the Building and Zoning Department for review. And then additional comments, one of the goals of the city's comprehensive plan is to maintain a thriving community by expanding the city's community service offerings to enhance residents' experience. We feel the opportunity to expand our community through these partnerships will be a great asset for the city and as a whole, and the addition of this unique community will be a need that is very underserved in the city of Harrison and surrounding areas. And that's all I have.
Jerry, would you like to say?
I'm gonna do it now. No, I would move for approval.
So there is no vote. It's just a presentation, and you're all shaking and nodding your heads yes, so we're all good.
I know we've looked at a lot of different opportunities on this piece of property, and I'm excited about this moving forward and partnering with you. So
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I mean, really
Greatly
special.
appreciate
Yes.
all of it.
Thank you.
We don't have to vote, but we do have to adjourn.
Need a motion to adjourn?
Oh, yeah. No, we have a good one, too.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Mayor Grubbs.
Yay.
Ms. Knock.
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo.
Yay.
Mr. Wilson.
Yay.
Mr. Graff.
Yay.
Meeting adjourned. And congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you,
Yes.
guys.
We should just voted on it.
Yeah.
I know, right?